So welcome to this tutorial in which we are going to create a Unity VR game using this methodology in which we are going first of all to show what are the things we need to import. Then we'll explain the example package from the SDK from Google Cardboard, and then we'll start doing this stuff here that I'm going to leave for after. So let's go ahead and import all the needed files into our project. So to do this, we have to write down Cardboard SDK download, and once we do it, we can go ahead and download the things we need. So this is in Spanish. I'm going to put it in English. Okay, so we have the download and examples. So you go there and you are going to download this thing and this thing, both files. Okay, so one of it is going to be all these scripts and assets we need, and the second one is going to be just the main scene with the teleport cube that we have already seen in other tutorials. So when it's done like this, you go ahead and you open Unity. I'm using 5.3.4 personal one, and you create a new project. So just call it test cardboard, okay, 3D, and we are not going to use any other asset packages for the moment. Okay, so 0 if you want to give some different name, you can do it. It's not a problem. So I believe you already know how Unity works. Okay, so I'll go fast. If you want to import your assets from Cardboard, you go and you say import package. You select custom package. You go to downloads, and then you have the SDK for Unity package. That is the first one you need to import. So you go ahead and you import it. And once you do this, you will have the basic stuff you need to start your game from scratch. But if you want to check out an example package, an example demo scene, you must import the other package. So let's just wait for this process to finish. If we go here, we can say that this thing is already cleared. So this is green. And now we're going to import the sample scene once this finishes. We have also some MP4, as you can see. It's a video instruction that you can follow. Okay, that's going to explain you which are the movements of your head. And another, a lot of things, you know. Okay, so when this is done, you can go ahead and repeat the process. Go into assets, and then you select import package, custom package, and you go ahead and you import your cardboard demo for Unity. Okay, there's going to be less stuff. Yeah, as you can see, you have here the demo scene. And when it's done, you go ahead and you open that demo scene. Okay, so now you should have it here, and you open it like this. So you hit play, and if you have imported everything properly, you'll be able to do something like this. Okay, and when you click or simulate the magnetic trigger, the cube will move randomly. So we have finished with the first stage of this tutorial. Then we're going to explain this example so you can start building your stuff. Okay, so the things that are on the scene are the cardboard main, that you have to understand this like the body of a person that contains the head. So the head, it's the object that is going to rotate. So if you move here your by the way, I'm moving this pressing my Alt button, okay? If you move just your mouse, it's not going to work, so you have to press the Alt button, okay? And if you want to roll, you have to press the Control button here. So you have this rolling effect and this yaw effect and also the tilt effect, okay? So if I move my head, you will see that the rotation is changing. So in fact, the body is going to be still, but the head is going to rotate. So if you want to do something with the angles, for example, if you want to make something appear or disappear when I'm looking at it, you will need to reference to this head object with this rotation, okay? We will do a quick example in a moment. Let me just explain more things. Well, the cube is just the object on the scene that has all the functions here. Let me close this. All these event triggers that are going to create that teleporting effect. The plane is the ground, okay? The point light is just the light on the scene. The floor canvas, so this is our canvas that is going to trigger some functions. So if you go there, you can see that we have different buttons, and those buttons have a lot of functions that are, in this case, related to the cube and related to other things, such the cardboard is center, okay? So in fact, this is just a work canvas that is going to trigger some functions when I click them, okay? So if you hit reset, the cube is going to start at the original position. That's a way of saying, okay, we want to interact with our environment, okay? So finally, the event system. So here you always need to have the gaze input module active, because this one here is going to manage the pointer events by looking at the objects or using that reticle, you can see, okay? So in fact, what this script does is it creates a raycast and checks out if you are looking to an object, even, as you can see, UI object, okay? So the touch input module is not necessary if you don't want it, okay? And finally, the overlay canvas is just a thing that is going to appear in your scene, okay? Especially here, if you add something, I don't know if they have the FPS, okay? So you can see how it's going to be added into your scene, okay? Direct on, etc. But it's not going to render as the VR space. It's going just to render as it were a regular camera, okay? So once this is explained, we can move on to the next stage. So importing ready packages for the asset store. This is just for people that do not like to program, to start from zero, and they want to have something to start with. So if you go to the asset store and you type cardboard, we have already created a bunch of things you can use, as you can see, in your projects. So let's open just one to show you how it works. We have the Cardboard VR basic kit. So you can check this out for yourself. I'm just going to import it to show you how things work here. Okay, yeah, you should use an empty one, but well, let's try out if it works like this. I hope it's going to work. So you import all the things you need, and then when you get to this package, you will be able to, in this case, simulate a shooter game with the VR headset, okay? So that's what it's doing now. It's importing all the things we need for the game, and we reload our scene because it's going to modify the main scene, okay? So if you hit play, you should be able to see something like this. Okay, you can move with your A, S, D, and W, and you can shoot the enemies. Okay, this is our package, basic package for these cardboard games. So you can see that you die at the end. Okay, so um, this is for people that do not want to start programming things. So I repeat again, you go to the asset store, you type cardboard, just type in cardboard. Okay, it's really easy to find, and the ones that have this cardboard icon are ours, and they are the things you can use. You have all the cardboard VR space controller. So these are really good packages, so that you can use to start your games. Okay, I encourage you to take a look. So now this is already done. The space controller, we don't have time to see it now. You can see it by your in the asset store if you want. So now what we're going to do is to build an Angry Birds like game. So we want to hold an object and we want to throw that object. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is delete this package I have imported because I'm not going to use it. And I'm going to re-import again the demo scene because we're going to use it. Okay. So I'm just going to check if everything's working well. Okay. So as I said before, we're going to create an Angry Birds sort of game in which we have to hold this object here and throw it against some structure. So let's first create the structure. Okay, so go ahead and create some cubes here. And we're going to put them in front of you so it will be easier to shoot. Okay, so just go ahead and create something simple. Something like this. You know, sort of the Angry Birds structures they've got. So they have something like this. I'm just copying the objects to go faster. Okay, so you can hit Control C, and then you create the last one that is going to be like the ceiling of this structure. Okay, then what you're going to do is select the three objects. Well, first of all, you create an empty game object outside of everything and you call it structure, and then you hit the three objects and you put them inside, so it's going to be more organized. Then you hit the three ones at the same time. Okay, so you can go and do things faster, and you create add component, sorry, and you say rigid body. Okay, and you leave the things by default. So if you hit play, you will see, just for checking, that the three cubes, the third cube, sorry, is going to stay there. Okay, and if you move one, it's going to fall. Okay, so this is going to be the structure we want to hit with this cube here. Okay, so once we have the structure built, we're going to interact with the cube ourselves. Okay, if you want to start with an example code, you go ahead and you go to cube. Okay, and you go to the teleport script and you open it. So what we're going to see here is all the functions that the teleport CS uses to simulate that movement, that teleport movement. So you can see we have the teleport randomly, that is the one that is being called, okay, when clicked. So what we want to do now, if you want to reuse this script, okay, we're going to comment these lines because we are not going to create that teleport randomly, but we are going to create a public void interact. Okay, so in fact, in this function interact, what we're going to do is pass a game object that's going to be a cube or whatever else is going to be an object. So when we click our cube, first of all, we want to hold it. So in order to do that, we have to make reference also to the head component. So to do that, we're going to create a public transform head. Okay, and then we will assign that value. So the idea is when I call this function, the cube point transform point parent is going to be the head. Okay, so check this out. If you have some errors, as I had here in these short lines, let's go ahead and check them. So sorry about that. This sometimes when I'm recording at the same time, the mono-developed Unity is going to close. I don't know why. So I have some problem here. Let me see which sort of error. Okay, I see it. So you know, we have here a call of teleport. Okay, that it's not being it doesn't exist on the context because I have commented it. So just go ahead and comment that line again. Okay, so now it's going to work, and as you can see, the teleport now has a head. Okay, so you go here and you pick up the head and you drag it into this object here. So once you have that done, in the cube event triggers, you have to see that we have the pointer x event, and then here you have the option to go to teleport, and you will find our interact game object function here, and in this case we have to say the cube. Okay, so in this case we are able to, by clicking this object, okay, in this case it's pointer enter, sorry. Okay, when I did the pointer enter, I'm attaching the object to the head. So you can see that there are some problems. Looking at the ground, the object is going to get inside the ground, what is not a good thing. So we will fix this in the future. So first of all, here let's do things right. So make Control C again. Okay, and go to the pointer click. Sorry, this one here is the good one that is missing, by the way. So in this case you go interact, and in this case it's going to work well. So in fact the script is going to do the same thing on pointer enter and exit, and when you click it will be attached to you. Okay, so now it's working. Finally, in order to add the effect of throwing in the box, we will need to add a rigid body component. So we add a rigid body. We don't want to use gravity because, well, I'm going to put gravity so you can see the effect. So we have this, and we click it to pick it up, and you can see that gravity is doing some weird things. Okay, because in fact the object is going to use the laws of physics. So it's the object is attached to our head, as you can see here, but physics are still taking it down to the ground. So if you take out the gravity, okay, and you pick this object now, you have that effect. Okay, so now we have also the good thing of considering that the cube is not going to surpass the ground. Okay, so once we have that, we go again to our teleport script, and in the interact stage, okay, what we're going to do is create an intermediate state that's going to be holding or throwing, okay, our object. So you go here and you say we want a public. It's public because we want only to check out if things work, okay? So, and it's going to be set to false at the beginning. When we get to the interact stage, we can say if holding it's equal to false, this means the first time we get the pointer click event, this part is going to be triggered. Nevertheless, the second one we want to trigger that same event, we want to add a speed to our object to simulate the throwing event. Okay, so what we're going to do now is, if holding it's true, we're going to get component rigid body, rigid body velocity, and we're going to add a new vector. But in this case, we want to throw the object following the head forward vector, and we're going to multiply this by a speed coefficient, and the speed coefficient is going to be just a public float speed. That's going to be, in this case, I don't know, 20.5f. okay, it's just for testing. So we're going to wait for everything to be updated, check if there are not errors, and then in the teleport we can see we have all these variables. So let's check it out. Let's try to get the object. So I'm going to click once, so you can see the object is mine now, and then I'm going to click another time. Okay, and I see that the holding is not changing, and it's really frustrating to explain something and forget to do it right. So go again to the script and say we want holding to be true in the case we have set the parent of the cube the head. Okay, so in this case, thanks to using this public variable, I was able to understand the problem. Okay, so we hit one time, you can see that the holding is set to true. So in this case, we are here in this part of the code, and then if we hit again, we'll be here. Okay, let's hope so. So I'm going to point at something, and I'm going to throw my object. So as you can see, we have created this simple script that simulates a game similar to the Angry Birds. Okay, I'm going to repeat just the result of our programming stage here. So I'm going to hit this object by throwing the cube. Okay, so this is all for now. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Let's see if I'm missing something. Okay, so you can see we were able to hold the object, we were able to throw the object, and finally, of course, we want to see how to test this on our Android device. So the first thing we have to do is download the Android SDK. So you go and copy this line of information, you put it there without the A, and you have the download Android Studio. So you go here and you download it. It's not a lot, so I'm going to download it again. Well, I'm not going to do it, I already installed it. So you go accept all this stuff and you do it. Okay, once you do so, a folder will be created. Okay, so this is okay now, and you have to configure that folder inside of Unity. So to do that, you go to Edit, Preferences, External Tools, and you can see my SDK has been downloaded here and installed here. So I'm going to just show you where it is and what it got. So this is the Android Studio. You have these two managers here. You have to go to SDK manager first. You click it and you will have the option to update the different API levels. Okay. You have also these platform tools that you can use to obtain images from your phone. So you have all of these things. Let's see why it's not working. It takes a lot of time to charge, to load. Sorry. You can also open the README if you want. It takes a lot of time to load, and at the same time it's like blocking my PC. Contains only the basic tools that can have the platform third party. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you. So you go to this menu here, that is the Android SDK manager, and inside of this you can install all the tools. You can see the API and the Rev version here. So you have to install the latest ones if you want, and you can see the option to install packages once you select one. So I select this one, and you have the delete and install option. Okay, here. So you have to do this before you update things to your device. So I repeat where you have to go. You have to go to Unity Preferences, External Tools, and then you select that folder. Okay, I showed you before. And once you do that, you are ready to go. So you go ahead and say File. You say File, and then you go to Built-in Settings first, and you want to select Android, and you want to switch the platform. Okay, so let's see, where are we? We're configuring the player settings. Okay, we're here now. So that will take a time because it's going to edit all the assets. Okay, it's going to transform everything you need into Android compatible files. So that's what it's doing now. Taking a lot of time, especially with textures. As you can see, the textures are going to be compressed. So okay, so when it's done, you have to remember to go to player settings, because here we have a lot of things that are by default. For example, you have the company name that is by default. So in this time I'm going to say test cardboard. I'm going to set the same thing underneath, and then a problem that we have a lot of times is that in this bundle identifier we forget to change the value. So here you have to put something like this, because otherwise it won't export. Then you can select your API level. My Android device has this Jelly Bean API level 16. I have an old mobile phone, and with all this you can select also if you want the D-pad enabled. It's going to be an Android game, that's for sure. And this is pretty much it I wanted to show. Also okay, virtual reality supported here. It's not necessary to click it. Okay, in fact we're using a stereo cam, so this one here is not needed. And I think that's all. If you want to create your own game, okay, let me add just a point here. Configuration of player settings is already made, and now it's loading to asset or to Play Store. So you want to, if you want to update something, upload something, to the App Store or to the Play Store, you need to create a new K store. Okay, So you put here the password, for example, test and test, and you will be able to create it. Okay, user case store. Once you do that, you can select it here, and you will be able to update to your Play Store the APK. You will be able to put it there. So for debugging, you can go ahead and say use existing case store, and here you say the debugger style. Okay. So finally, let's get things uploaded to our Android device. You go here and you add the open scene, and now you hit the build and run. So test cardboard is going to be the name for this APK, and then you start uploading things. Okay, so I'm going to just switch to my mobile device. So I'm going to use a small or short video in which I'm uploading this to the mobile phone. Okay. So now it's assembling things into one file. That's going to be the APK with all the resources and all that. Okay, I'm going to set this to true, and this is finished. So yeah, this takes some time. We're going just to let it work. And now, okay, when you see this, it will take a time that's going to be proportional to the size of the file. Okay, so now it's pushing the content to my device, and now it should start doing stuff on my screen. Okay, installation fail. Okay, I forgot something. You know, I'm not perfect, so let's check it out. Okay, so yeah, this could help you a lot if you have this problem. So now it's saying I'm unable to install the APK. Why? And the error is not really clear, but I know why, because it happened to me. So you go and you have to check your Android version, and you have to go to plugins, Android manifest. So in the Android manifest, I hate this mono developed thing. The only thing is good about it is that it's free. Okay, so here I already told you that my Android device it's or has an API level of 16. So it's not going to work if I do not change this. You can also see that in this Android manifest, we are granting permission to NFC, external device, and internet. So this is a really important file that you can use in order to create more permissions. Okay? So once you have done this, and if you are crossing your fingers now, we can test again if the project is going to be exported properly into my device. So you go ahead and click again the file build and run. Let's see if now it's going to work. Okay, all is going into one file, and then let's see if it's going to push things into my device today. Will be a great news if it wants to put the information inside my device today. Okay, so now it's doing it. It's doing it. We don't see any type of console errors now. attempting to start. So now, well, this was the error I got before, so it's not important. So as you can see on my device, now the game is playing. Okay, I'm going just to use my right hand to hold this object here. As you can see, it works exactly as you can see it on your... Oh man, I failed, I missed. Oh my gosh. So I'm going just to look for it again on my device and run again the video, because I threw something and I didn't hit the objective, so I'm going to repeat it again. Okay, I take my cube and I want to throw it against this. Okay, so you can see that now it's working. Okay, so yeah, thanks for watching this tutorial. Now I can tell that we have done these 5 points already. So if you have any questions, or if you need help with some stages, if you want to develop your own games, please consider first to use packages that have been developed by others. We are a group of students that we have developed all of these things for you. So let me just finish by explaining a little bit each of them. You have a cardboard gallery. That is one of our latest products, in which you are able to see stereoscopic images. These are stereoscopic images. You have an image for your left eye and your right eye, and it has like 3D content. Okay. The other script we like a lot is the CARDBORD roller coaster, because you have the option to ride a roller coaster that is going to be completely customized by you. Okay, build your own ride. So that is one we like a lot. And finally, we have this package here that is a Samsung-like cardboard keyboard, in which you can select and write your own text. Okay, and maybe this one here could also interest you, because it's a drone controller, okay, for your cardboard. So you are going to be able to fly around in your drone. So thanks for your time. Hope we have helped you to build your first game. If you want to keep tuned to more things, you can visit also our webpage, that is vrcardboardbuddies.wordpress.com. And please write us if you have any other questions. Thank you.